One evening, as a young and foolish man who thought he'd seen all the world had to offer, I leaned out my apartment window, watching the night. I lived in a small building above a mostly defunct subway tunnel. Every now and then, they would send a cleaning carriage down the tracks, followed shortly by a delivery freight. It was from those tunnels that I heard the symphony. As a lover of classical music, I listened to the greats and the classics. When I tell you that the music is to this day the greatest that I have experienced, I hope it conveys a fraction of what I felt when it began to echo through those tunnels. Each night, for an hour, the music and I shared the late evening. But it wasn't enough. I craved it as soon as it ended. Though I remembered fragments, it was impossible to hold it all within my mind. "What do they play?" I asked an elderly neighbor. "I wouldn't know. I draw my windows closed before they start." "But why?" "I don't like to hear it." "Who are they? Why does it come from the tunnels?" "There's an old concert hall built underground during the war. I don't know why they play there or who they are." "Do they sell tickets? How do you get there?" "Through the tunnels." He looked deliberately at me. "I wouldn't go there. It's not safe." "They only send the trains on occasion." "I can ask the station master at the local station for the times." "I mean the tunnels. There are vagrants down there." I purchased a microphone and recorder and set about trying to capture the music to tape. But the recording was noisy, filled with the busy city sounds that our minds automatically subtract. I had to get closer to capture the sounds. The station master was initially tight-lipped, but became helpful after a few drinks. He gave me a detailed schedule of when the trains were due to pass through the subway. A librarian pointed me to the city plans. I drew a map to navigate the tunnels. There was the subway, intersecting rail lines I had to avoid, and the concert hall. The tunnels were dark, even darker beside the light of my torch. The curved walls were marked by graffiti and blackened by soot. Distant moving trains shook the earth and sounded like thunder. When I reached the intersecting rail lines, I waited for one to pass before crossing the tracks. At the end of the tunnel, an iron door stood in the wall. Behind it, I found a set of steps leading to another, wooden door. Through the gaps between the door and frame, a warm orange light spilled out. I was there. I gently pushed open the door and entered the upper stalls of a great dilapidated concert hall. I checked my watch. I was 5 minutes early. I set up all the equipment and found a hidden seat, worried that my presence might ruin their performance. The room seemed to chill in anticipation of their arrival. 2 minutes to the hour, 80-something players entered silently and took their seats, followed shortly by the conductor. The performance was exquisite, the best I had ever heard and seen. The performers moved in seemingly impossible motions, building and dismantling the music for a perfect 55 minutes. Then the final crescendo, layer on layer building in intensity and harmony. Then, with one wave of the conductor's baton, silence fell. My hands came together in uncontrollable applause. Such magnificence demands recognition, to be celebrated. But they paid me no mind, turning in unison like a flock of starlings changing direction in the sky, and left the stage. I called out after them, but it was too late. They were gone. I took my things and hurried back through the tunnels to my home. Now I had the recording, I thought. I could listen to it any time I pleased. I could even sell it and become a rich man. There wasn't a soul on earth who could resist something so beautiful, I thought. Inside my little apartment, I opened my window and took in the night, as I had on the night I first heard the music. There were always new and wonderful things. You simply need to go out and find them yourself. How many other secrets does this city hold? I mused as I rewound the tape to the beginning. When it was done, it whirred for a second and clicked. I pressed play, ready to hear the piece of music once again. Nothing could have prepared me for what came out of those speakers. A pristine, perfect, and unblemished recording of 80-something tortured souls, crying, wailing, and screaming in collective agony. It was the sound of hell itself, now immortalized on tape.